Hello dearies, welcome back to the Craft Kitchen. If you're new here, this is Tina from FriedaFriemel. I'm all into junk journals and sometimes other paper crafts, but mostly junk journals. This is what I pulled out for next month challenge Junk Journal July, hosted by Mac Journals here on YouTube. And I've decided to use Mac's prompt list for this year's challenge to build a junk journal with you. And of course I'll have some tips and tricks. Let me talk about Junk Journal July a bit first. It's a very well-known challenge, yearly challenge in the YouTube community, hosted by Mac Journals. And I think it's her 11th year now. Mac provides us with a prompt list, one prompt for every day for July, and everyone is invited to participate. Though for every day another creator here on YouTube is officially invited, I'd like to call it, by Mac herself, to present their interpretation of the prompt list. You can download the prompt list and have a look on who the involved creators will be on Mac's channel, which I will link down below. So I already know I'm not going to do all the prompts, meaning not posting a new video daily. Yes, I've started to record a few videos ahead of time, like this one, but there are some things coming up for me and my family in July. First of all, July is my daughter's and my birth month. Usually I don't celebrate my birthday because I don't see the necessity for myself. It's just how my logic works. But I'm going to be 50 years old. Half a century, lovelies. It's actually very exciting. This year I'd really like to have a huge brunch in the garden with my closest family on any day around my birthday, if it doesn't rain for a change. So you see, this isn't exactly plannable. Second reason why I won't be able to come up with daily videos is we're gonna be switching rooms with my 15-year-old son in the first week of July. He will have the office/living room. We actually don't have that kind of living room everyone else has. It's just an office somehow. And therefore I have no clue until when my computer will be set up again, so that I can upload some videos and edit them and such. Also, the prompt list, like you can see here, yes. The prompt list has some prompts on it that don't make sense to be used in one of my journals or to make a video of it. Because, for example, like, let me see here, 25 tea dyed. Some of you might already know all the papers, most of the papers I'm using for my journals are coffee or tea dyed anyway. So there's no need for an actual video about this. Also, I'm definitely not going to do the lettering prompt. I've tried to improve my writing for years now, dearies. Even with lettering courses, and it just didn't work out. No, I'm not going to do this one either. Some prompts I will put together, like maybe wildlife and window, don't know yet. And I think I won't be posting my interpretation of the prompts in order, like shown here, because I would have to jump back and forth in the journal we're making together. So you see, the prompt list itself will already be an interpretation of mine. Yeah, I've pulled out some things. I'm definitely going to use this old cover. I like the stains. This is really the back of this book. Yeah, spine. It is, yeah, very, very aged. And I've pulled out some paper. Some of them are too thin to use single sheeted, so I maybe will sew them together, maybe glue, I don't know yet. Also, what do we have here? Wallpaper. This is the wallpaper on one walls in our office, which my son will have in a few weeks' time. This paper will be the backing, I think. I don't know yet. Actually, I don't really know what I'm going to do yet. I had some ideas. Oh, thunderstorm coming up. I had some ideas, and I'm really hooked on one idea, but I just saw that Louise from Junk Journal Art, Louise Heinzel, was using the concept I would have loved to use for this journal a few days ago. I don't know. To bind her personal journal about her moving back to Germany. I don't know yet. I really don't know if I'm going to be using this binding method. I know I'm going to be using this cover and most of these papers, like this. And of course some topics of the prompt list. Meg also provided us with a calendar for July, so I could note some ideas, write down some ideas I had with the prompt list. I don't know if it will be exactly this. These were my ideas I had 3-4 days ago. 3 or 4 days ago, yes. Maybe I changed some ideas, maybe some ideas will spark on during the travel. I have no idea yet. So, dearies, hopefully I will be entertaining you with a small series of my interpretation of Meg Journal's Junk Journal July. And now let's see what I'm going to do with all this. I'm actually looking forward to see the outcome myself. As I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. Just making some kind of book first. That's like here, the spark. Yeah, I think the spark will come when I look through all the papers, and you'll see the result in a few minutes, and maybe in a few hours, days. I have no idea. Now, first things first. I had to reinforce some of the papers, because as you can see, this is just a piece of an old calendar and a coffee dyed copy paper. Whoa! And I'm just using my glue stick to put them together because I'm going to sew them together anyway later on. And yes, I had to repair some of the papers, like this envelope. After this, I used one of my covers to measure out the width of my pages. I made them single sheets, and as you can see, just ripping off a bit to make it much more grungy. I tear them, I cut them using the ruler, of course, because the wallpaper was very sturdy. There I'm cutting the tiniest bit off of the page to fit in the cover. After I've sewn the papers together, I had to connect them to build signatures. For this I used strips of a coffee and rust water dyed very old sheet of my grandmother, just glued on the strips with fabric glue, made a fake sewing up front, leaving about 5/8 of an inch for the middle pages. Yes, I had to decide which pages I wanted to have in the middle, and about 3/4 of an inch for the outer pages, all of them. I glued the strips on both sides, so both sides would be decorated, and made sure to glue down the middle as well to not get any bulk when folding the signatures. Spreading the glue all the way to the edge, and deciding which way I wanted them to go. And on this wallpaper I already knew I had to use more than the usual amount of glue because the leaves on the wallpaper are shiny. So I put the glue on both sides. And pressed them with the brayer so I could avoid having wrinkles. After the fabric glue had dried, I covered most of the pages with white gesso to give them more interest, and to be sure I could use them for mixed media later on. Here I decided, okay, let's try how this looks with the white gesso on the fabric as well. I really like the outcome. And sometimes, yeah, when you're in the middle of being creative, it gets a bit messy, but you always can improvise. And since I've messed up one page already, I wanted to continue the look. Now we're getting really messy. I didn't know where this was going in the first place. Just smeared it all over and gave it a little bit of texture. with the tool and my fingers. And with the sleeves I already knew, okay, they have to be covered also. So this is how the journal looks so far. I've used the cover I intended to use. It's a hardcover. So let me show you. I've built 3 signatures from the single pages in the video, just glued together, and then build them up. This will be the backing of, no, the in-between layer of my spine. I will sew my pages on here. Of course, reinforce this a bit and then glue this in. So now for the cover itself. This was a hardcover. I've used the spine, the front and the back. This already was falling apart, so I decided to use a very old linen from my grandmother. I've dyed with coffee and rust water to line the inside of the cover. Just sew 2 pieces of fabric together and then glued them on. Because I didn't use any glue here in the gaps between the spine and the front and back, I had to sew here. You can see it better here. Because whenever I was folding the cover, the 2 pieces would build some kind of bulk in here. I prevented this by just sewing 2 lines. So now for the signatures. The main thing I had to look after while preparing my signatures was that when I put them in here, all built up, they fit in between these sewing lines, which are the gaps of my spine, so the book can open and close properly, like so. Yeah, it's a bit wobbly right now. It's only, I don't know, 4, 7, 10, it's only 40 pages, 10 double pages, back and front, but we're going to fill it up with pockets, with ephemera, maybe with some fabric to pockets, etc. And then this cover will fit much better than right now. But I don't want to sew it in, don't want to sew the signatures in right now, because it's much easier if you're decorating your signatures, your pages, before sewing them into the book. So for now, I have prepared the journal for Junk Journal July. Maybe you'd like to use a similar technique. It's really easy, but time consuming, definitely. I'm looking forward to decorate these pages, the signatures, with you in July using Max prompts. Maybe you want to print them out yourself and just have a look and note some ideas you might have already. As always, dearies, stay crafty and be excellent to each other.